Hello students, welcome to your English literature class. Today we are going to continue chapter 10 B. Wordsworth, written by V.S. Naipaul. So, the objectives of this session are, by the end of this video, you will be able to understand the meanings of the difficult words as used in the text, the title of the story, and the characters of B. Wordsworth, the narrator, and the boy's mother. So students, open your workbook on Echoes at page number 175. Students, in the previous session, you had completed the reading of the chapter B. Wordsworth. Today, we are going to discuss title of the same story, characters of B. Wordsworth, the narrator, and the boy's mother. So, first of all, let's discuss the title of the story. As soon as we read the title of the story, B. Wordsworth, it arouses our interest as it immediately reminds us of William Wordsworth, the great romantic poet. So students, the moment we read the title of the story B. Wordsworth, it arouses our curiosity as to who is this B. Wordsworth, while we know of William Wordsworth, the great romantic poet. So, the protagonist B. Wordsworth clarifies that B in his name stands for black and white Wordsworth. The great nature poet is his brother. So students, the meaning of the word protagonist is main character. Next word is clarifies. Write down its meaning. Makes clear. So students, it is in the story that B. Wordsworth, the protagonist himself, makes it clear that B in his name stands for black, and he also claims that white Wordsworth, the great nature poet, is his brother. So students, white Wordsworth here refers to William Wordsworth. Next he says, like William Wordsworth, he is also a lover of nature. He loves to walk outside. He is fond of watching a variety of objects in nature. He likes to lie down and watch the sky and the stars. So here, just like William Wordsworth, even B. Wordsworth had the poet's sensitivity to cry while watching morning glory, a beautiful flower. He loves to be in the company of nature. His house is away from the concrete city life, and its yard is filled with bushes, trees, so much so as though it wasn't in the city at all. So students, meaning of the concrete city? A city filled with large buildings. So the way he lives, he here refers to B. Wordsworth. So the way B. Wordsworth lives indicates that he is secluded from the city life and he is different from other people. So the title is apt as throughout the story B. Wordsworth is at the center and it is his story that the narrator presents to us. So here center means center of attraction. So students, the title of the story B. Wordsworth is quite eye-catching and appropriate as throughout the story B. Wordsworth is the center of attraction. In fact, the story is his a character sketch and it is his story that the narrator presents to us. Now students, next we are going to discuss characterization of B. Wordsworth. B. Wordsworth is a poet who symbolizes the importance of respecting and appreciating nature. He earns his living by singing calypsos in the calypso season. So here students, what is the meaning of calypsos? Actually, calypsos, a style of Agro-Caribbean music that originated in Trinidad and Tobago during the early to mid 18th century. Right? As we have already done in summary, B. Wordsworth went to the narrator's house to see the bees around the trees, and he had also told the young boy that he could cry by watching the beauty of the flower morning glory. This shows that he respected and appreciated the beauty of nature. And moreover, he also tells the boy that he sings calypsos and makes some money in the calypso season. So next is a colonized man living in Alberta Street, Port of Spain, in colonized Trinidad. B. Wordsworth was so colonized that he abandoned his native Trinidadian identity. So, meaning of abandoned is left. We have read in the summary also, B. Wordsworth lived in Trinidad, which was a colony of the Britishers. So, he was so much impressed or influenced rather by the Britishers that he abandoned his native identity and adopted the dressing sense and the way of speaking English. And we have also read in the summary that he was wearing a white shirt, a hat, and black trousers. So, students, this was not the native way of dressing up of Trinidad. This was the way of English dress up. In a British occupied Trinidad, he acted English. He acted English means he wasn't an Englishman, but he pretended to be by adopting their dress up and their way of speaking. He was dressed up neatly when he first met the boy and was wearing a hat, a white shirt and black trousers. He had adopted the language of the colonizers, which sounded good but not natural. So students, why not natural? Because it was otherwise not the language of that place. The next point is a poet calypsonian, originally known as a chanterelle, is a musician or the musical leader of a calypso from the Anglophone Caribbean. Now here children, Anglophone Caribbean, actually it is a country where 2 or more languages are spoken. So who sings songs called calypso? So calypsonian, we can say, is a musician who sings songs called calypso. B. Wordsworth fantasized about being a great poet. His name was a pun in itself, which reminded us of the great poet William Wordsworth, belonging to British Romantic era. Now here Romantic era, an artistic, literary, musical and intellectual movement that originated in Europe towards the end of the 18th century. Now students, note down the meaning of fantasized. To think about something very pleasant that is unlikely to happen. Next is pun. I hope you all know the meaning of pun. A humorous use of a word that has 2 meanings. Now students, in the summary, you all have read when the boy asked B. Wordsworth what his name was. He said that his name was B. Wordsworth, where B stands for black. And he also claimed that White Wordsworth was his brother and they both shared same heart. Here students, sharing of heart meant that they both had same feelings. He said that he too could cry seeing beauty of nature. And we all know that William Wordsworth is a famous romantic poet who loves nature. So, he refers to Black Wordsworth. So, he had a fantasy in his mind that he was as great a poet as William Wordsworth. Black Wordsworth, actually was escaping from the reality of life that he wasn't a successful poet. He wanted to be as good as William Wordsworth. I had told you earlier also, the English who ruled over Trinidad had left their culture and their language there, and they had left their literature there, and the people were greatly affected by it. And this man, who had lost his own identity as Trinidadian, wanted to adopt the British lifestyle. And he had even adopted their literature. So, he wanted to be a great poet like William Wordsworth. Here we can also say that B. Wordsworth fantasized, means it was only his fantasy, as he was not so good, not so great, and not so successful as William Wordsworth. B. Wordsworth was creative and intellectually curious. This seemed to alienate him from other adults. This might be the reason that he befriended the narrator and spent time with him. So, students, here alienate means separate or cut off. Next is befriended, means made friend with. So here we have come to know this from the reaction of the narrator's mother also, who was infuriated when he said that he wanted to watch the bees around their palm trees. And next, when the narrator asked his mother to give him 4 cents so that he could buy the poem of B. Wordsworth. But his mother told Black Wordsworth to haul his tail away. So students, this shows that Black Wordsworth was different from the other adults of his era. Now next, he used to observe the mysteries of existence and draw conclusions about life's lessons. And how he had concluded about life lessons? As B. Wordsworth had told the narrator that he was writing the greatest poem of the world which would sing to the humanity, and he wrote the conclusion of his experiences of the entire month into one line which he was going to add in his poem. So, as a result of their friendship, the world became a most exciting place. So students, as the boy and B. Wordsworth continued going for long walks. This way, for the boy, it had become the most exciting place. So, B. Wordsworth claimed to be writing the greatest poem in the world, which would be completed in next 22 years. We have already read that B. Wordsworth had already spent 5 years on it, right? In reality, nobody had ever bought his poetry, and he earned his living by singing calypsos in the calypso season. We have already discussed the meaning of calypsos, a style of Afro-Caribbean music that originated in Trinidad and Tobago during the early to mid 18th century. So again, we have come to know that B. Wordsworth was not a successful poet, though he wanted to be a poet as great as William Wordsworth. So he was comparing himself to him, but he was not a successful poet. The poem that he had written on mothers, which he called as the greatest poem on mothers, he wasn't even able to sell it to anyone. And for the greatest poem that he wanted to write for the world, which would sing to the humanity, he wanted to take another 22 years to complete. And he had already spent 5 years on it. All this shows that B. Wordsworth was not a successful poet. And moreover, the boy told B. Wordsworth that he earned his livelihood by singing calypsos in the calypso season. So, he believed it was a poet's tragedy that he had no buyer for his beautiful poems at the cost of 4 cents. So, B. Wordsworth also mentioned that it was a poet's tragedy not to have his work sold and be given the recognition they deserved. Now, the next point is nature lover. B. Wordsworth seemed to be lover of nature. He compared himself to White Wordsworth, a reference to William Wordsworth, and said they shared one heart. The sight of a small flower could make him cry. He was fond of watching a variety of objects in nature. So, students, we have already discussed, and this is also shown when he compared himself to a nature lover poet, William Wordsworth, and said that they shared one heart, means they both had same feeling. He too could cry seeing morning glory, a beautiful flower. He was also fond of watching a variety of objects in nature, be it the bees or a small flower. So, unlike other houses in Migul or Alberto Street, his yard was filled with bushes. It was all green and had a coconut, a mango, and a plum tree. The place looked wild, as though it wasn't in the city at all. So, his yard was surrounded by bushes. So, the place where B. Wordsworth lived looked wild as though it wasn't in the city. When he went for a walk with the boy for the first time, they lay on the grass to watch the sky and the stars. So, students, here he refers to B. Wordsworth. And the boy we are talking about, the narrator or the young boy. So, when B. Wordsworth went for a walk with the boy for the first time, they lay on the grass to look at the sky and stars. He wanted the boy to share his love for nature. Then the boy forgot his anger on seeing the beautiful sight before him. Then the boy had a beautiful moment when he forgot all his anger and tears, focusing on how small he felt among all the stars and yet so big and great at the same time. So, students, the next point is an affectionate man. B. Wordsworth felt and showed love and affection for the young fatherless boy. He, being a warm-hearted man, offered the boy ripe red mangoes from his yard. So, when the boy was upset and angry with his mother, the man comforted him. He took the boy out for a walk. The young boy was fatherless. He too needed love and affection. So, B. Wordsworth showed his love and affection for the young fatherless boy. He offered him ripe red and juicy mangoes from his yard. The young boy, after being beaten up by his mother, went to B. Wordsworth, and B. Wordsworth consoled him and took him out for a walk. And students, this shows that B. Wordsworth was an affectionate man. Moreover, the story about the girl poet and the boy poet that he told the young narrator reflected his loving nature. Now, here, the readers also get a hint that the story was his own story. From how the young narrator explained it that he was getting old as he was speaking. He was growing old as he narrated that story to him. So, we can think that the story was of B. Wordsworth only. This also shows his loving nature. He didn't cut all the bushes and trees of his house only because of girl poet Or we can say his wife loved greenery all around. So, the man was fond of the boy. He treated him like an adult. He respected his opinions. In his last moments, he pulled the boy to his thin chest to make him stop crying. Here also, we can say that he has loving nature. By the end, he didn't want the boy to be unsuccessful like him. He had realized that he was living in a dream world and didn't want the boy to do so, and wanted the young narrator or the boy to become a real man in the world of realities. Actually, the boy sensed his approaching death. He burst out crying loudly. Then B. Wordsworth pulled him to his thin chest to make him stop crying. He wished him a good future delinked from sad memories and thus asked him to never come back once B. Wordsworth had finished his funny story. B. Wordsworth pulled him to his thin chest to make him stop crying and asked him to go away and never return. So, students, here the last part of the story makes it clear that his demise is in fact symbolic of the demise of an era of love for nature, simple living, and emotional bonding. So, with this, we have discussed character sketch of B. Wordsworth. Now, let's discuss character sketch of the narrator. So, the narrator is a young, inquisitive boy in the story whom B. Wordsworth called Sony out of love and affection. So, students, write down the meaning of inquisitive, curious. So, the narrator in this story is also, you can say, a main character. He was a young, curious boy whom B. Wordsworth called Sony affectionately. So, the point is an inquisitive boy. The boy was inquisitive about the strangest caller who came one afternoon at his door. The boy asked B. Wordsworth many questions about his life. He asked him what did he want and his name and interests. The boy had desired to know or learn more about him. I said, "What you does do, mister?" He got up and said, "I am a poet." I said, "A good poet?" So, students, we have already discussed the meaning of inquisitive. Inquisitive means curious. So, the narrator was full of curiosity. The way he asked questions to B. Wordsworth revealed his desire to know more and more. On his first meeting with B. Wordsworth, he asked his name, his profession, so on and so forth. So, on his subsequent meetings, he took keen interest in the life of B. Wordsworth. So, he said, "The greatest in the world. What your name, mister?" "B. Wordsworth." "B for Bill?" Each time he met B. Wordsworth, he was full of questions. He found that the poet encouraged his questioning and led him to the answers of his questions. So, here, children, these lines show that the narrator was curious by nature. Now, next point is a sensitive and emotional being. The boy was a sensitive and delicate being. When B. Wordsworth asked him if he liked his mother, he replied, "When not beating me." It reflected he was used to being beaten up by his mother. When he was beaten up for coming home late from school, the sensitive boy ran out of the house crying. So, here, children, the boy was a sensitive and sentimental. It becomes clear at many points in the story when he was beaten by his mother, he ran out of home swearing that he would never come back. Then, one day, When he went to see B. Wordsworth, he found him lying on his bed with death on his shrinking face. This sight made the boy so emotional that tears ran down his cheeks. So one day, what happened, students? The narrator went to see B. Wordsworth. He cried when he found B. Wordsworth lying on his bed. He saw signs of death on his shrinking face. He became so emotional that he burst out crying loudly. Then B. Wordsworth revealed that all that talk about poetry was a lie and asked him to go away and never to return. The boy couldn't speak anything, but overwhelmed by emotions, he left his house and ran home crying. Now, students, here write down the meaning of the word revealed, meaning disclosed. Next word is overwhelmed, meaning is overcome. Now, what happened? Then B. Wordsworth pulled him to his thin chest and made a shocking confession. Now, students, what was that shocking confession? At that time, he disclosed to the narrator that his talk about poetry and the greatest poem in the world was untrue, and asked him to go away and never to return, as he didn't want him to be another failed poet. The boy couldn't bear his friend's death and ran home crying. Next point is a confidant. Here, confidant means a person with whom one shares a secret, trusting not to repeat it to others. So, how he is a confidant of B. Wordsworth? The young boy became a confidant of B. Wordsworth. He became the man's trusted friend with whom he could talk about personal things. So, B. Wordsworth made the narrator his confidant. So, the boy was entrusted with the man's secrets. In their first strange meeting, they developed a bond. When B. Wordsworth left that day, the boy prayed to see him again. When they became friends, B. Wordsworth asked him to never tell anybody about him or his trees. The boy not only gave him his word but kept it. B. Wordsworth also told him the great secret about the greatest poem in the world. So here's, children, the phrase we have entrusted with. Its meaning is to rely on one to care for something. So here, B. Wordsworth made the narrator his confidant and entrusted him with his secrets. So, in their first strange meeting only, they developed a bond of friendship. And it is clear, students, when B. Wordsworth left that day, the boy or the narrator prayed that he would see him again. Both of them became friends and their friendship deepened with time. One day, B. Wordsworth confided in the narrator that he would not tell anyone his great secret about the trees and about the greatest poem in the world which he was writing. So, the next point is a keen observer. The boy was a keen observer of his surroundings. As the narrator recalled the account of B. Wordsworth from his childhood, he remembered how well was the man's dress and spoken English. Also, when B. Wordsworth told him the story of a boy poet and a girl poet, the boy observed his face. As he seemed to grow older, the boy understood his story. So, students, here he was such a keen observer that though B. Wordsworth didn't tell him that the story which he had narrated was his own story and that of his beloved, but the way his face was growing old as it was losing its color while narrating the story, the boy understood that the story of B. Wordsworth only. So, when the boy went to visit B. Wordsworth for the last time, he could clearly read his face, which was old and tired. He could see death on his face, to which the old man replied, "Oh, you can see it too. I always knew you had the poet's eye." So, throughout the story, B. Wordsworth repeatedly told the boy that he had a poet's eye, which actually tells us that he was a keen observer. So, students, we have discussed the character sketch of the narrator. Now, let's move further and discuss the character sketch of the boy's mother or the narrator's mother. So, the boy's mother, like other African mothers, was hardened by a prolonged life of poverty and hard labor. So, this was the reason that the boy's mother was a suspicious and impolite woman. Now, our first point is a suspicious and impolite woman. The boy's mother, when confronted by B. Wordsworth at her doorsteps, asked in an unfriendly and impolite manner, "What you want?" When she was told he wanted to watch the bees, she allowed him but reluctantly. She was suspicious of B. Wordsworth and his way of speaking. His good English worried her. In a rude manner, she even disagreed to buy his poetry worth 4 cents. She asked the man to haul his tail away from her yard. So, it is said the boy's mother was very strict, suspicious, and impolite woman. And it's clearly seen when she was confronted by B. Wordsworth, a neatly dressed up person who spoke very good English. And she got worried. She felt that such an African person was an outsider. That was why her attitude towards B. Wordsworth was quite unfriendly. She also asked him, "What you want?" When she learnt that the man wanted to come in the yard to watch the bees, she unwillingly let him in. She even rudely disagreed to buy his poetry and asked the man to haul his tail away from her yard. The next point is a strict mother. As students, we have already read many examples how the boy's mother was very strict to him. So, the boy's mother was strict in her attitude towards him. When B. Wordsworth asked the boy whether he liked his mother, the boy mentioned only if he was not beaten up. This tells us that getting beaten up was a part of his daily life. When he came back home late after eating mangoes from B. Wordsworth's yard, he was badly scolded. "Where you was? You think you is a man now and could go all over the place? Go, cut a whip for me." She beat him so badly at that moment that he ran out of the house with his nose bleeding. Means she was, the boy's mother, was very harsh and heartless. She treated her son very strictly. When B. Wordsworth asked him or asked the narrator if he liked his mother, he replied only if he was not beaten up. And it reflected he was used to being beaten up by his mother. And when he came back home after a feast of mangoes, he was badly scolded, and then the boy in a trauma ran out of the house. He also swore that he would never come back. Thus, the mother in the story is unlike a soft mother figure, as she was battered by harsh circumstances. So, students, I hope in today's session you all have understood the character sketch of B. Wordsworth. the narrator and the boy's mother. So, with this, the session of our day gets finished, and the homework for your day is to revise the title of the story B. Wordsworth and character sketch of B. Wordsworth, the narrator and the boy's mother from your workbook on Echoes. Thank you.